Mental
Mental
Man.
Man.
Hi.
Hi. Another episode.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Been a while, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Brad.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Brandon.
Welcome to Mental Men.
Welcome.
I think today we're going to be talking about some moving and the stresses behind that. Because I recently moved and it was hell, let me tell you. And every
Oh,
time I
yeah.
have moved has been.
I haven't even asked you about that. Like,
Yeah.
when
I mean,
was
'cause you're
that? May 15th or something?
16. Yeah, no, that's when we got the house.
Oh,
That's when they moved out.
Yeah.
So where you can start doing some work on it basically.
Oh,
but we
so-
didn't move in until a bit after that.
when officially? Today's the 8th, we found out.
I don't know, a week and a bit ago, I guess. I'm
Oh,
not sure.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I could have helped you.
Well, we didn't have that much. Most of our stuff was in the basement in a storage room. So we didn't have that much stuff at Ash's parents. So we were kind of bringing it over piecemeal, sort of, and then the last big one was there's basically just 2 dressers and 2 beds.
So what does it feel like to be back?
It feels weird still.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like home. There's little things obviously not sharing the kitchen with Ash's parents is amazing, and laundry, the little things are way easier.
Yeah.
But just sort of getting used to where everything is, and you, when you don't see your stuff for 18 months, you forget what you have.
Yeah. So it's been 18 months in
Yeah.
total.
And it was so weird, just in the kitchen, for instance, kind of setting it up. I used to be able to tell you every single piece we had in that kitchen,
Yeah.
where we bought it, all that kind of stuff. And the frying pans we have, I'm I don't even know where we got these. Couldn't tell you. No idea.
Did the previous people leave anything there, or
Yeah, we're kind of actually fighting with them right now, but
about what?
the state they left the house in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They didn't clean it or anything? Or-
They hired cleaners, and the company technically guaranteed their work, but the house was so dirty that they washed stuff once, and Ash said, just go, basically.
Really?
And she washed the family room floor 8 times or something like that.
It was that dirty?
They had these dogs and it was layers on layers on layers.
Jesus.
Yeah, so we went a few times, and at first I know for sure they were having people come in and clean the house, and they used to have people come and do, whenever we'd stop by, they'd have someone detailing their car and things like that. That must have stopped at some point. One of the last times when we went to re-sign the lease, the house looked fine, clean. We noticed a couple damages, but it's just whatever, we'll deal with it at the end. And then we went to have some flooring measured. We wanted to get a quote to see what it would cost, and it was a fucking disaster. It was
Wow.
a fucking disaster.
At this point, did they know they were moving?
No, at that point they did not.
They didn't? Okay.
Oh no, well sorry, no, they knew it was gonna be,
Yeah,
the end,
probably.
May 31st was the end of their
okay,
lease.
so they knew.
But they didn't know. I don't think they even had a place to move to yet or anything at that point.
Because I remember asking you, I don't know, 6 months ago or something, I said, how are the people living there? You
Yeah.
said they're really nice and they are...
That's the thing. You always think, this is one of my biggest problems is I always want to see the best in people.
Yeah.
And then it just turns into a whole.
So you say you're fighting with them? Are you not giving them back their damage deposit? Or?
So that's kind of what we're arguing over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, is what to give back.
Yeah.
And then we got some quotes for stuff, and yeah.
And how did the kids adjust to it? Are they...
Ellie easy because she was 3 when we moved out, or 3.5.
Okay.
George has been more difficult. He loves all the toys because we had a whole bunch of toys in storage, so it's all, getting new stuff, and him and Ellie play really well together, so they're having a blast. It's bedtime is really, really hard right now because he hasn't had his own room since he had his own room when he was 1, you know, and now he's 3. And,
So before he was with Ellie.
yeah.
So are they gonna stay in one room then? Or?
No, we have him in separate rooms. So
So he's just like at night. Like,
yeah, he has 3 night lights. Yeah.
Interesting. So that's just an adjustment period for him.
Yeah, exactly. And so because of the adjustment and their bedtimes and stuff like that, and we just have like no free time because you know, work all day and then you pick the kids up, and then even when they're watching TV, if you let them watch a little bit of TV while you make dinner, you're making dinner, you know, and they're sitting, you're not taking a break. And then after that, you know, you go to the park or you do something until bedtime. And then if bedtime takes like an hour or 2 hours, you just don't get a break, and it's hell.
So how do you deal with that? Because
There's nothing you can do. You just deal.
sometimes my dog is bothering me too much. You know?
So you just lock them
Give
up.
me some time.
Yeah.
So I always think like if I have a kid, I can't just say like go away, right? Like
Yeah, I mean, it's an adjustment having a kid for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to give each other breaks or you'll go crazy.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you. So you basically just wait till after they sleep, and then you're like, okay, finally, I have like 20 minutes.
So it used to be when they were even smaller that even when Ellie was 3, she was a way better sleeper than George. So we'd start bedtime at 7:30. They'd sort of be falling asleep by 8, and by like 8:30, they'd be out asleep.
Yeah.
So, you know, assuming you stay up till 10:30, 11, you have a couple hours, which is nice. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But now, you know, they won't actually fall asleep till like 9, 9:30, sometimes 10. You're just like, this is, oh my God.
So when you say it takes an hour or 2 to put them to sleep, what are you doing? Just reading?
No, so we start bedtime usually at 7:30 or 8. We're kind of pushing it to 8 lately since
Yeah.
and then it's the same thing, same routine always, you know, snack, brush your teeth, cuddle, tuck in.
You get a snack before brushing your teeth? That's pretty good, right? Like,
Why would you brush your teeth and then have a snack?
no, I mean, you get a snack before bed.
Yeah.
I
little
don't really
kids-
do that, but
Well, Jordan, you're 40 years old. You can do whatever you want.
thanks, Dad.
I mean, they're old enough you can stop, but you kind of start when they stop breastfeeding, you give them a snack because they're used to having essentially a meal, breast milk, before bed. So that way they'll stay asleep and they don't wake up in the middle of the night hungry.
So what's a snack?
Usually I do like cheese and crackers or some
that's not
fruit.
bad.
Try to do something without sugar.
Yeah, because that's the crazy part, right?
Yeah.
So if they eat too much sugar, what is the result of it?
Well, honestly, it seems like it doesn't matter what they eat. Same shit.
Yeah, they have lots of energy.
Yeah. So we send them to forest school also. And that has seriously built up their stamina so they don't stop all day.
You send them to what?
They go to an outdoor school.
Outdoor school.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know those even existed.
Yeah.
Sweet. So they're just running around all day?
Yeah. So Ellie is in kindergarten. There's a program, I can't remember where it is in the city for after kindergarten, but up to in kindergarten, there's programs for nature schools. And so they still have to follow the same curriculum and all this, and they do have a classroom, but they spend a lot of their time outside.
Oh, that's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Where did you find that? Just
Through our friends.
is that like normal now, or is that like very specialized?
It's still pretty specialized. Yeah.
Oh,
It's technically a charter school.
and what made you choose that? You just felt like, oh, you don't want the kids stuck in the classroom all the time?
So before kindergarten, it's just a daycare. And yeah, it just seemed like way, way better for them to be outside more than cooped up inside.
Yeah.
And Ellie still goes to the daycare she went to when she was younger. And sometimes we walk in there, you're just like, this place is a fucking prison. Like, this is hell. And when George went there, he would have these massive temper tantrums. And he's still, like, he's an emotional kid, so he still does sometimes before school, but it's nowhere near. He used to have him every single day when we dropped him off at daycare.
Wow. So are you starting to see their personalities formed, or are they starting
Yeah.
to take
Oh, yeah.
your like personality?
They're me. No, I don't know.
What is that process like? Like, because you're basically in charge of that, right? Like,
How am I in charge of their personality?
well, you can influence.
Well,
them
yeah,
to
they
do certain
they
things.
mirror you in a lot of things they do, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm a bit worried about Ellie because she is super empathetic, maybe too much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the worry with that? What's too much empathy mean to you?
That if you try to worry about hurting everybody's feelings too much, you're just going to get hurt yourself. If you're too wrapped up in it.
We were talking about that before, about, how most of us, I mean, I realized that at a certain point that I was treating other people way better than I was treating myself. And I don't think that's the best view. I think if you try to please everyone, you please no one, right?
Yeah.
And if you please or you look after yourself first, then you can start pleasing people, right? Like,
Yeah.
But you're never gonna please everyone, right?
Yeah.
You're always gonna, I don't want to say make enemies, but you're always gonna not please everyone.
Yeah.
Right? So
And that's the thing too is, I mean, that's life. How many times have you been the one that lost out? And it happens, it sucks, and then you move on. That's just how it goes.
yeah.
And so you kind of have to have that mentality in the way you treat people too, that if something has to be bad, you just think, well, that person's going to have to deal with it and move on.
Because I start to see that more and more when I moved back, that's how people are more conditioned here, like to treat other people better than themselves. At least from my friends and family, like that's what I found is like a very common thing. And I don't know where that came from, but I had that too. Is it like a Christian thing, or is it like just how we were raised?
It's your Catholic guilt.
Again, it's true. You do see people a lot of times, they bite their tongue. They're about to say something and then they kind of like, no, and they just hold on to whatever they're holding on to.
Oh, I
and you
do
just
that
wonder,
too.
well, what would happen if you did say it?
Yeah, because sometimes you're at dinner with a group of people and you want to say certain things to
Yeah.
maybe fix the past or something, but you're just like, you don't want to create that drama, right? You
Yeah.
just kind of bite your tongue. Like there are times where you have to,
Yeah.
and whenever you're ready, you can
Yeah.
also release it, right? Yeah. I forgot to say we're just doing an audio version today, so yeah, we can't.
If you miss our faces,
Yeah. So, but yeah, Brandon, you
Good segue.
yeah. So, what made you discover that you were treating other people better than treating yourself?
Okay, well, let's put some context to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went to therapy for the first time last week. And Caitlin and I were struggling, like I've mentioned before, we're struggling with fertility and everything, and I'm putting all this pressure on myself. And when I was talking to my therapist, and she's like, maybe you should go talk to somebody, and I was like, being part of this podcast, you guys have put, the thought in my head too. And basically I was talking to Caitlin, and she's like, why are you putting so much pressure? And I said, I'm like, well, I think I told you, I want to be a good friend, a good husband, a good son, a good brother, a good employee, everything, and you want to be perfect versions of all this stuff instead of just being a perfect version of me.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything else. And I was talking about this with my therapist, and she was like, well, yeah, you should be taking care of yourself first. And I was like, I know that mentally, but it's, for whatever reason, it doesn't click. And she kind of put it in my head. She's like, it sounds like how did she put it? Your head, your body, and your heart, none of them are connected. So she's like, it's about connecting them. So she's like, we're going to work on building a connection between everything. So it's like, if you fail as a friend one time, your friends are still going to be your friends, you know?
Yeah.
If you fail as a husband or whatever for one time, like, I'm sure your wife will forgive you. So, you know, and it's just that mentality.
Depending on what it is. It's like one time I slipped and went to a freak off. You got to forgive me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, but I've always been that way where I've always wanted to please everybody. Like, ever since I was a kid. But I don't know where it came from.
So, yeah, because sometimes, like, what I discovered was no one really asked me about those questions when I was growing up. Like, oh, well, how do you feel about this? Or it was just more like kind of like reacting to things.
You know what she told me too? She's like, she was finding out about me and my upbringing and what I do. And then she's like, okay, if I was to ask you, like, tell me about yourself, like, what would you say? And I would say, I don't know, like, I'm funny and I'm kind. And she said, that's it? And I'm like, well, yeah, like, I don't know what else to say. And she, like, pulled up the list of everything I was talking about. She's like, you're hardworking, you're this, you're this, you're this. And she's like, why don't you tell me any of this stuff? And I tell her, I'm like, because I don't see myself like that.
Right.
You know? So it's like...
That's the core of it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know, just speaking from my own experience, it's kind of like the way that I was conditioned, or it's more about like putting myself down somehow. Like,
Oh, yeah, like, I'm very, like, self-deprecation.
yeah.
Like, that's...
And I started to see that maybe we all are in a way. Like, that's kind of like the way that we were raised in a way, like the fear method, as what we talked about before. I think that's what it instills in you in a way.
What do you mean? We were super brave with girls and stuff and school. You know, we didn't just go hang out by the elevator in high school and, you know,
Like that confidence is like, we all struggle with it. Like, it's none of us are like, yes, like total confident or belief in myself. We're all like put ourselves down. And like, for me, I sometimes wonder, what if I didn't do that? Like, where would I be? Like, because my goal was a Academy Award. Could I have? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I put myself down so much that I just kind of got what I deserved from that. And then I had to learn the hard way to give myself what I need first. Yeah. And then, like, none of that matters. Like, all that chasing bullshit, it just doesn't matter. Like,
Maybe, but I mean, everything is balance, right?
Yes.
Because it's like the people that you see that are too confident, now they become cocky and they become terrible.
yeah.
So sometimes you need to really,
Sure.
you need a healthy balance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It depends what's the root of your confidence.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
There's big differences, obviously. Some people are nice and
bravado.
confident and they're still nice, kind people. So,
But that's what always pushed in me too. Like my dad growing up, it was always like, oh, don't be too confident. Don't. Right?
Yeah.
And so like that's always stuck with me where it's like, I don't want any accolades. Like don't celebrate me. Like why?
Yeah.
Like even my 40th birthday we had to cancel.
Right.
And Caitlin's like, when are we gonna do it? I'm like, I don't care. Why? I don't have to have a party for myself. And she's like, why? Like people want to celebrate you, and I'm just like we don't have to.
But that's like when I was growing up, I used to throw
Yeah,
tantrums
yeah.
at my birthday parties because I would hate the attention on me. I would say like, okay, we can celebrate, but like, don't look at me. Like, don't cheer for me. Like, I don't like when people are like, yay, and all the focus is on me.
But you want to stand up on a stage accepting an Academy Award.
The duality of man.
yeah.
Because I thought I needed that to like be a whole person, right?
Yeah.
And I actually, during COVID on Twitter, I contacted the screenwriter of Black Klansman. Did you ever see that movie?
Yep.
Yeah, he won an Oscar. And we started talking, and he hid his Oscar underneath his bed, and he was scared that people were gonna break in. So actually, it was like something, yeah, it was like something that he didn't even like really want. It was like something like dangerous for him, you know? So I realized, like, who gives a fuck? Like, you know, you don't need that shit. But
Yeah, growing up, like I always like, because I was instilled, like even to this day, it's like I don't deserve it. Like why do you have to celebrate me? I've done nothing. I lived for 40 years. You got to celebrate. Like why? Like
You did it. You made it.
yeah, but like even my wedding, like I was uncomfortable. Like it's like all these I like because all these people are coming to celebrate you and your wife, and the whole time I'm just like, we're just in love. We're happy together. Like you don't have to like celebrate.
yeah.
But
It's like I've been talking with my dad after work now every day, and he's like, you know, how's it going and stuff, and he's like, do you feel like uncomfortable there? It's like a completely different industry and stuff. I said, you know what? This was like the first time that I was just myself. Like during the interview, I wasn't really trying to be something else. I was just like at a place in my life. It's like, okay, this is what you get. Like what you see is what you get. And they hired me from just being myself.
that's why I tell everybody who comes in for an interview, just be yourself.
Yeah.
That's because that's what they're hiring.
Right.
You come in and you're somebody else. That's not who we hired.
That's the thing, yeah. Because that's what I used to be. I used to like play a role during the interview, and then I would get there, and then they would be like, "Oh, you didn't match what you know," and so. But now it's more about just matching that,
Yeah.
and I think that's your journey soon is matching mine.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a lot of parties. We're gonna be celebrating my 39th birthday, my 40th birthday.
So, what are you going to do this regularly? See,
Well, this is just an initial, like get to know me kind of thing. So in 2 weeks I'd go see her again, and go from there. So.
yeah. I think I'm gonna start seeing someone too because I got insurance now. That
Oh yeah.
got a certain budget for that.
It's very expensive.
I found out that because I'm covered under Caitlin. They have great benefits, almost triple what I get for therapy.
Oh, really?
It's crazy.
Wow.
What's the number for benefits? I'm
Well,
curious.
I only get $500 towards therapy,
Yeah, I get 500 too.
which is what
Really?
2.5 sessions.
Wow.
She gets
Yeah.
almost 1,500.
Oh.
Yeah,
I get 5,000.
for therapy.
Yeah, mental health stuff.
Jesus.
Jesus.
I know. I was like, oh, I am getting all the help I need.
You know what's great though is like Caitlin gets like almost 1,500 for like she gets 1,500 and I get 1,500.
Yeah,
So we
I
can
split
go-
mine with Ash too. So I think she gets 500. She might get a bit more than that. I don't remember. So it's like I can't remember when I was going pretty consistently. It was all covered. So
It's like what, 150 to 200?
no, average right now is like 220 an hour.
Yeah,
220.
mine's 200, but Caitlin hers is 220.
So do you go through the Alberta healthcare system, or how do you apply?
You just look for a therapist online.
That's all I did.
Yeah.
Google?
I googled like therapists, like kind of my
Yeah.
work.
Uh,
I found this company and I email them like what you're looking for, and then I was muted. they email you you email them what you're looking for, and then they send you a couple like therapists. It's like, oh, these ones might match your needs, and then they put you in contact, and then
And how did you find her?
like when I met her,
Yeah.
she was great.
Yeah?
She
Made you feel comfortable?
it's always weird with the first time.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know you.
Yeah.
Here's everything.
Exactly.
You know? So.
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you tried a few, or you?
Yeah,
found
well,
one?
I really like the one I saw when I was like 19, but he was already old, so I don't. The last time I looked, I was like, well, I don't think this guy's probably around anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah. And then I went to this one because it had really good Google reviews, but it was pretty far away. It was on 4th Street, and I saw her maybe 5 times. I'm not sure how many times, but it took me until the 4th-ish session to kind of finally be like, we're not really a match, actually. I don't think you're like, it's really nice to talk to somebody and have like that outside perspective, but it was something about, it just wasn't a match, and that happens.
In terms of like her feedback?
Exactly, her feedback and how they all have different styles, right? Some are more engaging and they'll be asking you lots of questions, and some are more, they kind of sit back and wait for you to say something, and then there's different styles, right? And so at first I thought it was a good style, a good fit, and then she gave me this one piece of advice that I can't really talk about, unfortunately, but I was like, this is terrible advice. It had to do with a family member sexual assault thing, and I was like, I can't follow through on this. This is terrible. And after that, that's the last time I saw her. I switched therapists after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found like Caitlin and I did marriage counseling a couple times to work on our communication, and I felt the same. Like we met with her, and the first couple sessions are great, and then like as we went on, I realized it was just Caitlin and I talking. Like she wasn't offering any kind of advice or like this is what you should do, but the person, like we got recommended, but like somebody told us to go there, and she really worked for them. And it's like, oh yeah, she's amazing. But when we saw her, I'm like, she's not doing anything that, like, she's just sitting in the room. If she wasn't there, it'd be the same thing, you and I just talking.
Maybe she was waiting patiently just to see.
Yeah, but it was almost like 4 or 5 sessions.
Oh,
It's like,
4 or 5.
It's like, okay, like, I understand maybe the first couple you just want to listen and get
Right,
to,
yeah.
but then it's like, okay, what are we paying you for? So,
Right, yeah.
I think it depends on their background too. The one I saw that I didn't like, she had her master's degree, and she was, I can't remember what kind of therapy she specialized in, but she did, individual sessions too. And the second one I saw, she was a psychologist, and she really focused on my upbringing in childhood, which the other one didn't at all.
Yeah.
So,
See, the one that I went to, I don't know what I would call that really. Like I was telling Brandon, it's called like NVC, it's called nonviolent communication.
okay.
So the whole premise is that you go back to those traumatic moments and then you just give yourself what you needed during that time. And I found, I don't know, I probably did 15 sessions, something like that. And after that, I felt like, oh, I don't really need this anymore. I felt like, clean or clear or something. But I feel like now that I've been here and I haven't had that as a resource, I feel like, oh, things are starting to add up a little bit now.
Yeah.
That I kind of need to see one. And I just been reluctant to because of the affordability reasons. So that's the biggest factor. But I don't know how people do it. Like, if you can't afford it, it's just
I think most people honestly can't afford. How many people can afford 220?
I know.
And especially if you're like in crisis.
yeah. Like, but what do you do? Like, you just hold it in, like, bear it?
I think there are free ones. I don't know how that works exactly though.
Well, when you had your thing in December,
Yeah.
and I was calling for you, that's what it was free. I think it was just the guy on the other end of 811 or whatever.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Right.
Free, and then he like kind of recommended places. I don't know. Does your work have a free? Like we have a free mental health.
Yeah, I have that too. Yeah.
Have you tried it?
No, it's like a TELUS thing, or they have their own systems.
Yeah. So how that works is you contact them, you talk to them, and they'll give you like 2 free sessions,
Right.
and then they basically say, "Okay, now you got to go to a real."
Yeah.
So like that's a good thing too, because they'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for help that way, it's not.
Yeah. It's maybe
Long
something.
term. Yeah.
It's like it's
Get
very
off your chest and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically. It's like, oh, are you going to commit suicide?
Right.
That's their first thing. It's like, okay, no, okay, let's give you a couple sessions and then.
Yeah.
you know.
Those guys, the two that I was on the waiting list for, they
Oh,
still
they
didn't. They never got
contacted-
back.
Yeah, it was awful. I was so mad trying to help you because I was like, none of this is helping.
And I'm thinking like, wow, the system is just, it's
Yeah.
just like, I don't know. It was a shock to me, like, you know, these past couple of years just to figure out what the system is like. And
Yeah.
like, because now I don't have a doctor, right? Because my doctor, he retired in October.
Yeah.
And so I've just been seeing these different guys from Africa and stuff. Like, yeah, just like a walk-in type thing. But I want like someone that I can trust for the next 30 years or something, right?
Yeah.
But it's like,
That doesn't exist anymore.
I know the whole system has kind of like changed itself, right? It's just through time. Like my doctor was part of that legacy, traditional, but now it's like they all retired.
No, it's still supposed to be that way. There's just
Right.
not enough doctors, so yeah.
And I guess, yeah, there's a lot of like South African and African doctors too that
Yeah, I mean they all have to pass their tests and stuff here, so they're all qualified. But yeah,
yeah, very different system than when I was a teenager, right? Like,
yeah,
that's the only measurement I have here. It's like I'm who I was growing up here, who I was in China, and who I am now is like these all these conflicts, right?
yeah.
You know, that's all I have to measure is from my teenage years. But yeah, so
It's funny, I did a therapy session one time through one of those free things, and it was a video session. And I log in, and it's like, I can see her, and she's like, oh, sorry, my granddaughter's here, I hope you don't mind. I'm like, what? She was watching her granddaughter.
Yeah.
She was like playing in the corner while she wanted to do the therapy session. I'm like, that's not gonna work.
that's weird.
Oh, it was so weird. That's the last time I even tried those free things.
Because I did try during COVID once. What is it, like Talkspace or one of those? Like,
Oh yeah,
Not a sponsor.
but soon. Yeah.
Soon, yeah.
Yeah, so I registered for one of those, and then it measures you up with different people, right? So I got like measured up with someone, and then it's like you do a Google search on them, and you're like, I don't know if this person is like trustworthy. Like, you're like, you know, the kind of requirements,
Yeah.
a little looser there, right? Because I think it's only like $75 or something. So
Well, that's not too bad, but I
not
guess,
too bad.
but they're also
But-
probably not.
yeah, you get what you pay for,
what you pay
right? It's not like here, that level.
yeah,
I find it interesting that like we get free healthcare and everything in Canada, but mental health is just like you got to pay for that
and dentist
and dentist
and prescriptions and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like, we don't really focus on like preventative care.
See, that's the thing. Is nowhere does, and it really pisses me off.
Yeah.
And it was a few years ago. Every province got $1 billion for healthcare from the federal government because healthcare is provincial, and so it was an odd thing that happened. And it's like I think every province should have taken that $1 billion and put it all into education for preventative medicine, and like really start focusing on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They won't.
That's not where the money is.
Exactly. The money's in is like, now you're sick.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the stark part of humanity, right? It's like we know what to do and how to fix things, but human nature kind of takes over, and that like emotional side of like, okay, we can profit from sick people and like
Yeah, greed. Greed is the worst thing. It's like how they're trying to dismantle the healthcare system right now in Alberta. And when they switched it from, it used to be doctors were basically paid a salary. And now it's per patient you see.
right, yeah,
That's crazy.
That's
Crazy.
yeah.
Did you see I saw something where somebody in South Korea, they were able to get cancer cells to start healing themselves. And immediately I thought, I'm like, that's never coming out.
Not
Like,
for
there's no way
free.
that'll ever be released anywhere if it like works in all the tests. And they were able to. I'm like, there's no way that'll go anywhere because there's no people don't get cancer, nobody's gonna make money.
Just
who
like
have cancer.
just like the guy who figured out diabetes and he came up with the insulin and he didn't patent it. He released it, being like, "This is for like this saves lives. Everybody should have this." And then the pharmaceutical companies take it and they're like, they're almost like cell phone companies in Canada. It's just, hey, how can we get the most money possible? Hey, everybody charge $1,000, and they
Yeah.
all jump on board.
Yeah. Well, we're having a battery issue because I got a new computer and whatever. But this is the problem with systems. Brandon said, keep talking.
We got dead air.
We can acknowledge that this is an awkward moment that disrupted the flow. But, it's good now, so. I think so. Oh, no, that's a warning logo.
Well, this may be cut short. Did you find, I wanted to ask, this last move to Canada as maybe one of your more stressful moves? Because it was supposed to be, or is supposed to be, like, more permanent?
Yeah. I mean, it's still an experiment for us. Like, there's...
Like, I know it was in your head that it's like, this is kind of like a more permanent move to Canada anyway,
Yeah.
so you might, I'm sure.
Totally.
But
Yeah, I mean-
whereas when you moved to China, you always kind of knew, well, I'm going to move home eventually.
Yeah. Well, I thought I was just going for 2 or 3 months. Yeah, and so I just brought a suitcase.
Yeah.
That's it. But when we moved back, I had a shipping container and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and it's a miracle that it even made it here. Right?
Why?
Well, it's literally from China, right? Like, it just goes on a boat and it took like 2.5 months, 3 months, something. And
Yeah.
it just all ends up here. But yeah, that was a huge. It's not more of the stuff; it's more of just the mental shift, and like seeing where everyone is at. Because I always typically come in like too hot, like kind of like last week when I went to work on my first day. I'm like sharing all these ideas, like
Oh, yeah.
we can go this. It's like that when I first came here. I'm like, oh, we can do this and this. It's like, no, everyone's at a different level. And
Yeah.
it takes time to figure out, where everyone is on their journey, right? So that was the tricky part, and seeing some people in pain, I feel, but they have that whatever it is that they don't want to share it, right? And they hold on to it, and it just gets worse and worse. It just it adds up, and it can drown people.
It's harder at work because you're balancing so many relationships at work. Man, I feel like I bite my tongue all the time.
Yeah.
You think it doesn't have to be this hard. It doesn't have to be this difficult. And you're working with, let's say one particular person, but who's very influential in the company, but they're very difficult to work with.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, how am I supposed to navigate this? If I told them straight to their face, they would lose their shit.
Right.
So what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, that I'm finding the office politics thing
Yeah.
is because I haven't worked in an office since November of 2022. So it's been 2.5 years or whatever. So I'm getting used to okay, and it's really my first time in Canada to be in an office.
Yeah.
Because my last job was remote, right? So that's even speaking in English to people, that's even a shock to me. Like seeing people, on whatever, getting a coffee, and it's like, okay. And on our floor, we have other advisory groups. So it's not just our our thing. It's like we're sharing all these other like almost competitors in a way. So I'm like figuring out who they are and like what should I say to them as well as the team that I'm on, which is like 20 people. And that's like a international team. There's 2 people from China as well.
Oh, yeah.
Who I haven't really gotten to know yet because I'm a little shy. So I'm just really figuring out the role and seeing where everyone's at and like what I can offer and stuff. But I can definitely feel in the time of AI, everyone is fighting to stay relevant. And some people are way more worried than others, right? I can really feel that. And that kind of brings out some nastiness in people. Like, they're really
Like a dog eat dog. Like, I'm not going to be the one who gets cut. It's going to be you.
Yes. Yeah, I can feel that. But, they did hire me for a reason. They do need a writer and a producer. So I'm just figuring out what my overall kind of thing is. Because I have my own theories about where they want me to go and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just about, figuring out all those things. So,
And routines, too.
yeah.
Because people are drawn to routines, and when you don't have it figured out yet, it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, within this team, there's mini teams as well. And like, there's already established people. Like, certain people have been there 10 years already. And like, okay, I'm the new guy. And, so just, And plus, I'm a writer. Like, they're all finance people, and we have like 5 people on our media team. So those people I connect with more because they've been in film and stuff and TV, and so I connect with that. But the finance people are like a whole other breed. Like, they have their own way. So just figuring out like no one taught me finances in Canada, right? Like how the system works here, and like so just learning that from a beginner level. Is like, oh, I have lots of questions about this and this thing. And so, like, I'm just constantly writing shit down. Like, making notes. I have, whenever someone comes into the office, they look at my wall and it's filled with Post-it notes right now because that's how I make notes. So they're like, oh, do you have like a murder scene or something? I was like, yeah, kind of like usual suspects. So. It's a whole learning like phase, right? So
I feel like all of us are in a learning phase right now.
we are.
It's almost how you should live your life, is to always be learning.
Shut up, Brad.
Well, that's the number one thing I told them at the interview. I said, if I'm not learning anymore, I'm not coming anymore. So I said, that's the number one drive for me is curiosity. So you gotta always keep growing, right?
Yeah.
I fixed the issue.
Yeah. Well, I think that could be a good.
Now we'll stop it once I fix it good. That's good. Yeah, no, it's a good spot to stop.
43 minutes.
But I like it. This is a good one.
Cool. Well,
Thank
thank
you
you for joining us
Yeah,
on
thanks everybody.
this episode, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
See ya.